everyone, today I'm going to be teaching you how to get the Force from Star Wars in Meow.net, and it actually works. So first off, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a toggle button V2. And you can do that by opening up your palette, going to gadgets, and then going to the next page in here, and then spawning it in. Alright, after that, go to Circuits V2 in the top right, go into the search chips, and then search up player left hand position. Alright, and then get a player left hand position right here. Alright, now wire up the player below the pressed on the toggle button V2 to the target of the player left hand position. Now get a player right hand position and just simply mark out the left right here. Set it to right. So player right hand position, spawn it under the player left hand position. Now make the target the player that pressed the button. Alright, now what you're gonna need to do is get a subtract. So get a subtract and a distance chip. Alright, now wire up the player left hand position to the top value on the subtract and A on the distance. Now wire the player right hand position to the B on the distance and the bottom value on the subtract. Alright, after that, get an event receiver and an if chip. So, event receiver. Now configure the event receiver and make the event update 30 Hz. Now wire up the event receiver to the if right here. Now wire up the is pressed on the toggle button to the condition on the if. Alright, after that, get a velocity set. So a velocity set right here. Now wire up the then on the if to the set velocity. Alright, now what you're gonna need to do is get a enter in rec room object get all with tag. Right here. Sorry guys. Alright, now make the tag. You can make this whatever you want, but I'm gonna make the tag E. Alright, now get a get element chip right here. Wire up the objects with tag into the list on the input of the get element and wire up the value to the target right here. Alright, now get a multiply. Now, the last thing you're going to want to get is a multiply chip. So, hold on, it's bugging. Alright, now yours won't do this, like a yellow line won't randomly come out, like to the multiply chip, it's just buggy. Alright, now make the product the speed, and then wire up the distance right here to the value and make this value right here 50. Alright, now the last thing you're going to want to do is wire up the distance on the subtract. Sorry, not the distance, the difference on the subtract to the direction right here. Alright, now the final thing you're going to want to do, if you're going to want to control players, just replace this with a get player by display or account name in. Alright, now spawn in an object to test it out. So I'll spawn in like a rum jug. Configure the rum jug. Now type in E and then click add, the plus button. Alright, finally press the button. And now drop everything and yeah, it works. Let's go. Now how you control this is your left hand is where it's gonna go. Keep your right hand still and move your left hand around it to like make it go anywhere. It's kind of confusing, but if you like, you can do cool tricks with it. Oh. Alright, but yeah. I'll show you what to do if you like want to do it with a player. So, simply get a get player by display name. Or I mean, not by display name, by account name. Whichever one floats your boat. Alright, now wire up to the player right here to the target. Alright, and then type in the player that you want to control. So like Bob. Now if Bob was here, I would be able to move him around just like this rum jug right here. But yeah, this is basically the end of the tutorial, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial on how to get this Star Wars Force, Meow.net. I hope this helped you make inventions or anything. Yeah. Give it your Meow.net best. Bye, everyone.